Somehow, my daughters fell in love with Formula One. I don't know how or why, but I'm not arguing. They may not know wheel, but does anyone?
Hi, and welcome to We Don't Know VLF1. I'm Anne.
And I'm Grace. We're two sisters who fell in love with Formula One and decided to make a podcast to force all our friends and family listen to us talk about Formula One. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. I'm so excited to be back after missing Checo's win in Jeddah. But
that was a fun race, but this race was
amazing.
Wow. Yeah.
I was talking. I've been waiting for since the season started.
We're only 3 races in, Anne. So I feel like it's a little early to say you've been waiting so long. I was talking to Sarah about this race, and she was like, I think I'm just going to watch the highlights. And I was like, Sarah, if there is a handful of races to watch, this should be on your list, because this race has everything. Checo starting from the back of the grid, dual Alpines knocking each other out, a Carlos penalty,
red flag,
George Russell on fire, and 3 red flags. Okay, was that true that was the first in the history of F1 that they've had 3 red flags?
I heard that too in the commentary, which is crazy.
Full disclosure, although this race was extremely exciting, I was like in the middle of working many shifts that start at 6 a.m. and end at 6 p.m. And so at 11:30, 12, as their red flag again, I'm like, what is happening? I'm like intrigued, but also exhausted and in my bed. And I drifted off after the second red flag, like while they were all still in the, in the pit lane.
Oh yeah.
Park permit.
I don't know what I'm saying.
In the pit lane, I fell asleep. I had no idea I fell asleep. I missed the entire restart, woke back up, was like, how is this red flag still going? I thought it was only like 10 minutes. And I had to text a friend and be like, oh my God, why is this red flag still going on? And she was like, this is a second one. And I was like, wait, what? So but then I've gone back and rewatched and like, wow, wild ride. Of course, immediately I'm like, it's not Carlos's fault, but I think it may have been. It may have been.
Oh, poor Carlos.
Poor Carlos. I also forgot that he pitted right before the first red flag and that he had gone from 11th to 4th.
Mm-hmm.
And then got a 5-second penalty. Just like salt in the wound. Meanwhile, Alonso gets popped right back up to 3rd. I mean, like, I don't know I think that was right, but I was like, they've they've just put everyone back in their orders and then been like, for this lap that doesn't exist, 5-second penalty.
So, okay, what I've heard is that the lap does exist, but because they didn't have sector times, they have to reset the order to before the lap started.
Okay, but still, it's like the effects of the lap only exist for some, but not for others. That's the other crazy thing. It's like the poor Alpines were there before the lap started, but then are out now that the lap is over. And that seems unfair too, because they were, if we're going to be like, oh, well, we don't have enough to establish an order, then, well, how do we have enough to establish which car can make it to the finish line?
Well, and also if they had just waited until the end of the first sector to apply the red flag, Nico Hülkenberg would have gotten his first ever podium in Formula One in a Haas, which is insane because he would have been 4th right behind Carlos.
Yeah.
Truly, truly insane.
Nico Hülkenberg drove a really great race. I also obsessed with Alonso's radio, which I finally heard on the rewatch because I was asleep for it, where it's right after the crash and it's just like beep beep, and then he's like, I think his engineer is like, can the car still drive? And he's like, yeah. And you're like, classic Alonso. He's like, the car drives. I will get the car to the end of the road.
He also immediately started telling his engineer, like, they need to go back to the order at the beginning of the lap because we didn't get to the first sector, which is, like, the fact that he was able to instantaneously realize that is what had happened is so impressive.
Okay,
like, it took me several minutes to realize, oh wait, they're gonna have to go back to the beginning because they don't have sector times and all of that. And
was it you or Sarah I was talking to, or mom? I don't know, someone. But I feel like also part of the, I was trying to go off on like Ferrari incompetence, and I was like, Ferrari needs better lawyers. Like, Alonso's out here as soon as it goes down, and he's like, this is how you need to argue it.
Okay, you were talking to me. I don't think there's anything that Carlos could have done in that situation to like argue that he shouldn't deserve it.
I think the only thing you could do is be like, if we're resetting the order and there's not enough to establish times, then get rid of my penalty, or give me the penalty within the old times, because that would still be better than what he got. You know, it's like he took a penalty and he had to move back grid places.
Yeah.
And essentially is taking a penalty on like not a racing order, just a like driving around us, you know. It's not fair, and give Carlos the points. No.
I agree that it, like, I don't know. And I think that the penalty in most situations like that, he would get a penalty. I think the situation that it happened in completely sucks.
Yeah.
But if they're going to apply the rules, they have to apply the rules. And like with Fernando,
I have a big side eye on that, because they apply the rules however whoever argues to them the best, or whoever is out here paying them the most. I don't know what's going on.
Of somebody arguing their way out of a penalty for crashing.
I mean, I think people were pointing to like Stroll's. Didn't Stroll have a racing incident in the beginning of the race? I think he did. And they were like, it's just a racing incident. It's a racing incident because it's in that first lap.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he did. And he did not get a penalty for it because he has Stroll lawyers.
You think Ferrari doesn't have money to spend on lawyers?
I think Ferrari has plenty of money. I don't think they have competence. If that was the case, wouldn't it be like...
But after Bahrain, you were arguing that Ferrari, like, is hiring the best people in the business.
I was saying I don't think they are. I don't understand what's the problem. I feel like Ferrari is a perfect example of having all the money and still can't do it.
That's fair.
Do you not feel that way? Like, you look at them and you're like, you literally have extra money and you have the prestige and you have the ability to hire anyone you want, because who doesn't want to work for Ferrari? And still you cannot make a good car. This is not going to be a moaning about Ferrari podcast. So let's talk about the rest of the race, because I took notes for the first time ever. And I want to get into them. My first note says red flags, so you can tell when these notes were written. But yeah, I mean, okay, quickly, very interesting how often they were dropping the red flags, ostensibly for safety. It was funny when I talked to Mom, she was like, of course they dropped all those red flags, Grace. And I was like, one of them was literally for gravel on the track.
Yeah, they were like, okay, the last one, there's no way you could argue that would not have been a red flag after the restart.
Yeah, 2 cars on the track. Yeah, agreement.
More than 2. I think 4.
2 that were like on the track. I think there were others that were off on the edges, but yes.
Oh yeah, the Alpines were off on the edges.
No, I think the Alpines were like basically in the track.
Well, anyways,
regardless, there were people on the track.
Logan Sargent
yeah.
rammed into was it Nick DeBris? Yeah, Nick. Anyways, that last one, of course, there's no way it's not a red flag. The first one, I could not believe it was gonna be a red flag. Apparently the gravel out on the track was really bad, and they even brought out like a street sweeper thing to clear a bunch of it off, and so that's why they needed to do it. That. When you compare it to other big crashes that have happened that have just been handled under a safety car, it was surprising that it wasn't necessarily handled under a safety car. It was
wild in the context of Japan last year when it was like pouring rain. Carlos's car was on the track and they were like, we could yellow flag this. And you were like, they waited so long. They had the safety car going around next to Carlos on the track. And you're like, I know that they have different officials like track to track who are enforcing the rules. So ultimately, I kind of think like, one, obviously exciting race. Two, I think for safety, like it is probably better that they're applying the rules in this way, but it does make you be like, what is happening?
Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting. And I will say, like, the walls in Australia, it's just middle ground between a street circuit and a like.
Okay, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Circuit.
Take me to a half street circuit. Like, I mean, I want a full street circuit, but at least this one is not like, where were we, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix? I was like, this is not a street circuit. This is not a street circuit either. It at least is halfway there.
Yeah, but like the walls were much closer in, and so then like, the gravel is much closer in and spills onto the track easily and all that sort of stuff.
This brings me to my next point. Let me out on the island in the middle of that lake to watch the Grand Prix.
That would be amazing. They are losing money by not selling tickets to the island.
Yeah. Why can't I be on the island? Why can't we be on our paddle boards in the middle of the lake? I also did read that someone was injured from debris.
I saw that.
From Kevin Magnussen's car.
Yes. And the guy apparently, like, someone else snagged and he didn't even get to keep it.
Oh, that's so harsh. Okay, well, intrigue. I've also written down here Ferrari tears. I don't know why I didn't expect that. I should have known. Charles out right away. That racing incident, Annie. It was Charles and Stroll. And I think ultimately maybe Charles was responsible, but they ended up just calling it a racing incident. And there was no, penalty or deduction. I think that is a point where you would be like, okay, well, if the effects of Carlos on Alonso don't end up affecting his race placement at all, then a penalty is a little bit rough. I think that's the only argument you can make, right?
Yeah.
Like ultimately he's in charge of what happened there. Albon tears, it's a lot of tears. I was so excited for him, and it seemed like that was a really good track for the Williams. And
which also I will say the Williams have looked so much better this year compared to last year in general. And I think part of that is that like after
Yost is gone,
so much of like so many of the teams are so close together on pace, where like the three teams after Red Bull, Aston Martin, Mercedes, Ferrari, they are faster than the others. There's not like a giant gulf between any of them.
The fact that the Haas is up there,
7 teams in the top 10 for qualifying.
Very fun. I loved that. Yeah, and no weather to make it that way. It was just like pure speed.
Yes.
I mean, Ferrari did their Ferrari by. Did you read about this? Like, supposedly Carlos was supposed to give Charles a tow, and then
there's been so much Ferrari drama online.
It sounds like Carlos wasn't told that, and then he was like, this is going to be tricky where you're asking me to give him a toe because it needs to be in a straight line area, and I'm in a bunch of corners. And so he slowed down because he was like, I'm going to do 2 like warm-up laps, but Charles had been told to only do 1 warm-up lap. Yes. So then Charles was like, you're in my way, and that's why he wasn't higher up in the start. Had to contend with Stroll, which again, Stroll, like, he's a fine driver, but he does have a lot of racing incidents. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But it pays to have a rich dad. Literally.
Most of the teams, I think, we're doing like a couple of warm-up laps to get their tires warm because it was so cold outside.
Mm-hmm. But Ferrari was predicting rain.
Yes, and Ferrari was telling the drivers, like, we gotta do it, because the rain's coming. And it didn't come.
And Carlos was like, no, thank you. Yeah, that was a rough one. So Albon, tears. But I hope to see him up there again, because I saw a meme or something recently where people were talking about Albon's hair, and they were like, Red Bull, someone needs to take Alex under their wings, because Red Bull only teaches drivers how to bleach the heck out of their hair. And then it was like because Seb also had bleached hair when he was at Red Bull, and it was showing like a bunch of other Red Bull drivers when they bleached their hair. And it's kind of true. It's definitely like the like kind of punk, I bleached my hair, I'm a Red Bull driver. I love it for him.
Bleach looks really good on Alex.
I agree. I'm in. I say don't take him under your wing. Leave him out here with his bleached tips. And I hope he starts dyeing it other colors. Yeah, I love it.
It's great.
Yeah. Keep it up. Keep it up, Alex. Then I said, do I feel bad for George? Fire! Because George Russell pitted before the red flag, which dropped him down to 7th, and then his car caught on fire, and the man really couldn't catch a break, which was maybe a good thing for team morale, because him and Hamilton were having it out.
I think it's a bummer that we didn't get to see a real race between Max and Lewis and George, because by working together,
they could have beaten
much more of a chance to keep Max behind them.
Yeah, it seems like there's the Mercedes strategy teams are very separate right now.
Yes, because it feels like they either should have kept both of them out there together and not pitted either of them, or pitted both of them.
Yes, I am in agreement. Yeah, also, like, I don't know. It seems like Hamilton's really now trying, okay, I need, like, now that the car is functional, I need to assert, like, my dominance in this situation. Whereas, don't laugh, that's true.
No, yeah, it's true.
And George is also like, wait, I need to prove myself. Because what did he say on the radio about Hamilton, where he was like, I will fight? I was like, oh my gosh, calm down.
I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
he was like, I will go fighting with him. You tell him to back off. And I was like, oh, drama. The boys are fighting. Which brings me to my next on the list. The boys are snacking, and I was loving Pierre Gasly. Anne thinks this is so dumb, but Pierre Gasly in his car during the red flag having a little snack. Was that real? I don't know, because he just chewed and chewed, and I was like, what kind of food is this?
I would bet you good money it was real, because I feel like during other red flags, I've seen Pierre Gasly out and about, walking around eating like a power
with beef
bar.
Jerky. No. The ultimate like road trip food. No. I do want to be like, okay, give me like a Vogue 72 questions of like, what are you doing during your red flag? Like, what are you snacking on? What are you drinking? Who are you talking to? Are you in the car? Are you out of the car? Because Max definitely likes to like get out and chit chat and like have a laugh.
Did you see Checo during the last red flag walk over and like start gossiping with Max and Christian, and probably Helmut Marko was there too?
Chef's kiss. Love it. Put it on Drive to Survive. Or like I like Carlos is like, put me back in the car and nobody talk to me. I need to be like, yeah, don't look at me. And Pierre is like, get me a snack and I'm ready to yell at the FIA. But yeah, like
speaking of Pierre and food, did you see the video of him and Esteban making burgers?
Yes. One.
So funny.
I love that that's like an Australian food.
Yeah.
Burgers with egg, which is that the Australian part? I don't know.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Aussies, if we have some Aussie listeners, please write to us. We don't know wheel at gmail.com. I think it's we don't know wheel f1 at gmail.com. If it's true, I love it. Egg on a burger, lovely. Did someone else cook those eggs? Because they looked beautiful, sunny side up eggs. I was like, these boys did not cook those. I don't
and also,
believe
if they only had a grill, how would they have been able to cook them?
I think they were pre-made. I think they were warming them on the grill, which cheats. Because yeah, initially I was like, impressive. This is a beautiful egg. It looks like it has a beautiful yolk. Lies. And then they kept knocking over all the ingredients. Also, who's the Alpine reserve driver? I think I love him.
Jack Doohan.
Yeah, Jack Doohan. Too young for me, but what a romance. Yeah, and he seems quite funny. Is he Australian?
Yeah, that's why they had a video.
Okay. And he like surfs, and yeah, I'm a big fan. Me and my multiple personalities, we're huge fans.
Did you see the video where it was Max, Checo, and Danny?
And the water challenge.
That one was hilarious.
I was like, they knew they
Max
would do this.
Chaos. But where it was like Danny was quizzing them on all things Australia, and at the beginning Max jokingly called Danny a Kiwi, and at the end Danny called Checo said like not bad for Mexican, and then Danny said yeah, not bad for a Belgian either.
I love it. So
good.
Oh, very good. Yes, I'm a big fan. I guess that could be also on my list that I didn't include there. Christian talking smack about McLaren in front of Zach Brown.
So good.
Why is Christian like the biggest pot stir? I was trying to find the PG rating way to say that. He likes to stir the pot just right out there. Love it.
Love it.
Love it. Love that he was like big side eye at McLaren. He came back to us too skinny. His driving habits have changed. Did he explicitly say something about how like if you're not driving a top car, you lose some of your skills, you pick up odd habits to make driving it
he definitely
easier?
Did say something about like
I was like
some habits he didn't have before. We had to train them out of him.
Love it. Love it. What else is on my list? Let me see.
I will say the Max, Checo, and Danny dynamic together, I think is so funny because Danny and Max are just like crazy teenage boys. You never really know what's going on, and Checo's just sitting there like, what are they doing?
It's really interesting. It makes me think a lot about like how people perceive Max and Danny as like good friends. Mm-hmm. But then when they've asked Max about like his teammate situation, he's been like, oh, Checo's my best teammate. I wonder if like a lot of not that he wasn't an incredible driver, but I wonder if it has like been a good thing for him to be with like kind of a serious teammate who's pretty intense.
Yeah, and I think
Anne's like, disagree.
No, I agree. And I think that Checo is old enough to like take things seriously on the track, but also
Checo and Danny are like the same age.
Okay, but Danny was several years younger when he was actually driving with Max.
That's true.
But what was I going to say? Checo, like, he's had so much experience and like struggled through like difficult things at various times so much in Formula One that
you think he's bringing a lot more to the maturity table.
Yeah, he's bringing a lot more to the maturity table, and he's also able to just like handle it better when Max is doing so well consistently. And instead of like getting mad at Max, just being focused on like, okay, I have to do what I can to do better.
Yeah.
Whereas
yeah,
like Pierre and Alex just like crumbled under the pressure, and I think it was gonna start to eat at Danny if Danny had stayed.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was starting to. I think that's why he left.
Yeah.
And in the same vein of now Christian being like, we love Danny. He was definitely out here when he left being like, he's running from a fight.
It was so good though to just see Danny happy and relaxed and like just it felt like he was himself again.
Danny should give up on his driving dreams and just give him Will Buxton's job. Although
just add him to the team.
He's so funny. He's so funny on Drive to Survive. Does it translate in the rest of his interviews? Like he seems extremely jovial, and maybe it's because he's like changed a lot. He's a little bit more serious after McLaren, but Danny at Renault, that's top Danny. No.
Danny at Renault was great.
But okay.
Did you have any more notes for us?
I did. I had one more that I looked at and then promptly forgot. Driver of the day curse is what I'm worried I may be contributing to a curse on the person who I vote for driver of the day, because in Jeddah I voted for Yuki, and this week I voted for Kevin Magnussen. No, I didn't vote for Kevin Magnussen. I voted for Hulkenberg. I don't remember who I voted for on the first one, to be honest with you. It was probably Checo. But I'm like, I better stop voting, or I should vote for the people who I am not happy for.
Are you sure you didn't vote for Alonso for the first one?
I think I probably voted for Alonso. So for him, a blessing. No. When will Alonso win a race this season? Let's vote.
It's gonna happen.
I know. I'm so excited. It will take Max being in like a crash during the race and probably taking out Hamilton at the same time.
Taking out Checo. Because I mean, at this point, like both Red Bulls have to be out of it for somebody else to win.
I don't know. I think Checo might be beatable, even in the Red Bull.
Did you see the pace in Saudi?
I know. I think he'd have to start near the back of the grid, but I think there's a possibility. And I think maybe like on specific tracks.
And
I'm saying that Max needs to literally like lose the race. Like not lose it. He needs to be like out of the race.
Yeah. I think Max has to be out of the race, and I think Checo can't be starting at the front.
Yeah, and that's making me really rethink the way I'm doing my fantasy league. No, just kidding. I will never. Did you see who's
leading the fantasy league right now?
No. Oh, is it Jamie? No. Is it you?
Yeah.
Okay. I went up on one of my teams, but then I realized that I only beat like my other team. So, whoops.
Well, I will say Mom is making some interesting decisions with her team.
What is she doing?
She's only doing drivers that she really likes and is not really caring about how many points they're gonna get.
Is that not what we're all doing now? Oh my gosh, Anne's like, okay, well,
like she's in both Haas drivers in, I think, every single week.
I love that for her. I mean, I have Albon, and I consistently keep Norris around for reasons I don't understand. And I also like Pierre. I like him well enough to keep him on my fantasy team. I gotta be loyal. That's the other thing, is I think I should be switching it up, but I'm trying to be so loyal to like my guys. It's not serving me well. Because the team that beat my first team has only been in for 2 races too. It hasn't been in. I created it after.
Who do you have in your first team?
It's not that bad, Anne. It's like Carlos is on both teams. That's a losing battle.
Yeah.
They're very similar, to be honest with you, because I think it's Carlos and Fernando, and then
Fernando's good, really good.
Yeah, Fernando's great. I got Fernando on there. Fantasy. I'm just saying that I have ethics when it comes to my fantasy team, and my ethics are.
The whole family is like boycotting putting Max on their fantasy team, and I think it's lame.
So does that mean you have Max on your fantasy team?
Yes. I have both Red Bulls and both Astons.
I think that Jamie does too. And I'm like, you little minx. You little minx. Okay. So my like, ooh, girls. It's called Grace's Girlies. And we've got Sainz, Norris, Alonso, Gasly, and Albon. Love it. And then my other team is very similar, but I went with a theme. So the theme is Spain. And it's got Alonso, Sainz, Perez, Zhou Guanyu, and Norris, because I just try to go with the Spanish-speaking drivers or their best friends, or like, I guess Zhou is like a huge like Fernando fan, and that's like why he got into driving in Formula One, so I thought he belonged on the team. And I'm not gonna switch it up, Anne. I will not. No, I'm not. Perez is helping me out a little bit on that one, at least.
I think I forgot how uncompetitive our family could be sometimes.
Yeah. Yes. But I mean, yeah.
It's one of the things I love about our family.
I loved the race. Heartbreaking, but loved it.
I felt like it was very hard to like judge at the end who had a good race and a bad race.
Because Carlos, if that last, the Alpines and Carlos and Magnussen all had great races.
Yep.
Not Magnussen, Hulkenberg. Why do I keep mixing those two up? They all had great races.
Which also P7 for Hulkenberg is not bad. Not at all.
No. But
and then you the McLaren's like getting in the mix and getting good points there, which like they had not had that good of a race. They just lucked out with like avoiding the carnage at the end.
Yeah. It sounds like development wise, Mercedes like going to take a whole new path. Per everything Sainz continues to say, Ferrari will also be taking a new path. What do you think, Anne? He's made a few comments where he's like, we need to completely retool because it's obvious that the direction we took development is not working.
I don't know that means that they actually are. I think it means that Carlos wants them to.
Well, Carlos is right.
I mean, I'm not saying he's wrong. But there's a big difference between like him saying that as a driver and the team actually doing it, because it takes like a year basically between when you decide to start following into concept to when it's going to actually happen.
Is that true? Because how is Mercedes out here like?
I don't think. Well, okay. Well, I heard one thing specifically with like how far forward Mercedes' seat is. That can't be changed until the 24 car.
Is that true?
Mm-hmm. And it was around this time last year that they decided to put it where it is right now and keep it the same as the 22 car.
Why can I not change it?
I don't know. I'm not an engineer.
They're like, we literally have to rearrange the entire guts of the car.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, well, and then same thing with McLaren. They're saying like they're going a completely different development strategy.
Yeah, Zach Brown is saying they're not going to be anywhere until 25.
It's wild that the Haas is doing so well. I hope I don't know. It must essentially just be a Ferrari. So it's like it could make it to Ferrari levels if you drive it well enough. That's kind of my assumption there. And then yeah, there was something else I was thinking about with that. I don't know. The
development race will definitely be interesting.
Yeah.
I think
somebody better watch Mercedes pretty closely with that cost cap.
You think they're gonna risk it after all of the like drama and flack that Red Bull went through?
No, I think that Lewis Hamilton will just pay for catering out of pocket for the whole team and just be like, this is my gift to the team, put all that money into the car. He's like, this is a charitable donation. Oh, okay. I want to do a quick meme review.
Before we do that, I think we should take bets on when we think Alonso's gonna win a race.
Okay.
I think we have to like pick one specific race.
Look at a calendar.
He's gonna win. Yeah, that's what I have pulled up on my phone.
Okay, let me look at the calendar. Racing.
I mean, Baku's up next, and Baku is always a crazy race.
I was gonna say I almost think it could be Baku. My other one would love to see Spain.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they've been really good in qualifying, so it could be Monaco.
Club Monaco? Yeah, I think
I want to will into existence Charles win in Monaco, Fernando win in Spain, and a Checo win in Mexico.
That means that absolutely none of those things will happen.
I know.
Poor Charles. Charles is having like what I feel like this season. It's hard to say when we're only 3 races in. Like Charles is having the season that Carlos had last year, where he's just like out at the beginning of every race, really can't compete. Like
I did see some people online joking of like, well, Max DNF'd 2 out of the first 3 races last year, so now Charles is going to win the world championship.
Maybe. Doesn't seem likely because Ferrari has like 20 points right now. So, yeah.
Okay, we have to pick a race.
I'm going to say Baku. Let's do it. Miami, that's a long ways away.
No, that's the race after Baku.
A long ways away.
Can you believe there's 3 weeks without racing now?
Yes, I can.
Oh, what are we going to do?
I'm going to have to go to some other races. We're going to have to get into IndyCar like all the other Formula One podcasters.
You should record an episode with Mom and Dad and Sarah after the Long Beach Grand Prix.
I would love. Cat's gonna play with my microphone. Cannot allow that. Yeah, I think that would be fun. Okay, meme review. Okay. Okay. Did you see any good memes this week?
Let me think about that one. I'll pull up our text thread. I cannot believe it was 120 messages that Sarah woke up to.
I can't. That race was insane.
I think one of the most recent ones you sent where is a picture of Pierre and Charles and Carlos superimposed from a picture from the scene of Mean Girls where Regina George says, "Skin and losers, we're going to shopping." It says, "Skin and losers, we're going to therapy."
I love that one.
So good.
It's a Tumblr one. Let me tell you who made it, just so we can shout them out because I really love it. That is from CSA. Oh, it looks like it's C Sashton on Tumblr. Love them. Great. They're a fanfic writer, it looks like. We love it.
I kept seeing ones of right around the like red flag after the restart. Of the scene from Community where Donald Glover's character walks in holding pizza boxes to just like absolute chaos and carnage in the room, and he's just like,
that's finally accurate. Because I feel like people use that for every race, and you're just like, they cannot all be this.
This one was accurate. Did you feel like
this
that
one was
woke
accurate?
Up from your nap?
Yeah, I was literally like, what's going on? I also saw one this week that I really loved. That was the cats from Aristocats. And they're Alex Albon with his different hair colors. Yes,
that's so cute.
It. So it's like the little tiny brown cat, the white cat, and the black cat. And then it's like his orange hair, his bleached hair, and his normal hair. And big fan.
So cute.
And then the person said the math is mathing, the dots are connecting. That's my hot. Yeah. But what a race. I wish I had more to say. I'm just too sad. I need to go talk to the FIA and then I'll be able to come back and finish.
You should go to law school so you can be Ferrari's lawyer for Carlos.
I would do that, Anne. I would do that. Imagine what kind of lawyer you are when you work for an F1 team. What are you specializing in school? No way. They have to be getting paid so good. They have to, like, they're a sports lawyer. Do you think that's what they are?
I have no idea.
We are checking. Like at least the Alpine boys, because they were out of the race, could go straight to the FIA.
Yeah.
Carlos is just in his car crying as they're like, "You're getting a 5-second penalty," and he's like,
his radio message was heartbreaking.
Also, okay, here's another hot take. When they cut to right before the second restart and they were like, the sun's gonna be all in their eyes, and it was just like close up on Carlos Sainz's face and his eyes. And so I think I saw something where someone was like, my parents were watching the race with me, and they were like, Carlos Sainz has beautiful eyes when they zoomed in on that. And they were like, I know. Why do you think we're here? No. I was like, the cameraman is working hard tonight. Yeah, but even if I'm heartbroken, a really great race. Great race. I think a bummer. I understand this whole like back and forth about like we don't want to finish under a safety car, but yeah, I don't know. That was a kind of a bummer because I was excited to see like race finish that was like gonna be a sprint, and then to be like under a safety car finish this race was like.
I think it's a difficult call. I also think that it wasn't helped by the fact that like it seemed to be a very like slippery track or greasy track or whatever you want to call it, where the tires are having a hard time.
Is that the official term they use?
Grip. I've definitely heard people say track. Greasy. Yeah. So, like, that played a factor in terms of just, like, the sheer amount of chaos, where in different tracks or in different conditions, I think it could have made a very exciting end without that amount of carnage and chaos.
So can they only do a rolling start when it's like wet or for weather conditions? Because that seemed like a good place to do a rolling start. Like,
people who are running the race.
Yeah.
To decide.
Put me in charge.
And usually they try to do a standing start unless it is raining. Just
I know.
The drama. So.
Yeah. No, I loved it. Give me more.
Okay, I have a random question for you before we end the pod. I feel like I've seen some debate as to whether or not Checo's car had something wrong with it during the third practice in qualifying,
and
or if he was just like having a really terrible day. I fall on the side of I think there was something wrong with the car.
I thought he said there was something wrong with the car.
Well, there have been mixed signals coming out because like,
there have mixed signals, like the
he's
tweet.
Been saying that something was wrong with the car.
Okay.
But then apparently
I'm
Red
fully
Bull
on board of the
about,
conspiracies.
Like, he braked way later than he should have during that qualifying run. Yeah.
I don't trust Red Bull. I'm full conspiracy girl.
I don't know. I think there was something wrong. But Red Bull doesn't want to admit it.
I'm a conspiracy girl. And I believe in the tweet where he was like, I'm working to be world champion. And then they made him take it down and change it. It doesn't say that. So I think there was something wrong with his car. He said that he went to brake and then the brakes were just not there. And it didn't benefit him at all. Like,
yeah.
I think huge crash.
You could criticize him that he maybe should have been more cautious going into the first big turn on the first fast run of qualifying after his car had not been working right.
I think that's a little rich. If you are no longer a racing driver if you don't go for.
But there was going to be 15 minutes left in the session where he if he had banked a lap that got him somewhere in the middle of the time charts, he would not have started dead last.
I don't know. That doesn't. I feel like. It's just not my impression of Checo that he's like a super rash driver. Like,
I don't think so either. Which it contributes to me thinking that there was something wrong with his car.
Mm-hmm. Because when he crashed in Monaco,
we're really getting into the conspiracies now.
Let's go there. No, but I don't know. There's some hot topics over at Red Bull right now. It's almost like I don't know. It's hilarious to think about the drama that they're pretending is going on between Charles and Carlos. And I love that I'm even it's pretend, because the Ferrari ostensibly is we don't want people to think that. But I think maybe there must be something with Ferrari where it's it keeps people interested. It pulls them in. Because it seems like it's a constant, there's drama. No, they love each other. Drama, love each other. But Red Bull is way more what drama? No, we're all very serious here. And Max is the number one driver. It's just very different vibes.
Yeah.
You have to admit. There have been... Because I think it's much more real, the issues between the drivers are much more real.
Yeah.
Which is why Red Bull is being we're not even commenting on it because they know that's a better way to get it to go away.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Ferrari's we'll comment on it. They did not come to blows. Look at them. They're going to kiss now.
I think that the Red Bull messaging as well as what Checo has been saying has been very different this year. Whereas he wants to fight for this world championship, and I think he realizes that this is probably one of his only chances to do so, because even if a bunch of the races he's finishing second to Max, if Max DNFs a couple races and Checo wins those races, that's how you end up with a Nico Rosberg winning. in 2016.
I would love to see Checo win the world championship.
Can you imagine the celebrations in Mexico?
Yeah, I think you're totally right. And like, give us more of that drama. And I love Danny Rick in the middle. It's real like Child of Divorce vibes where he's just like, no, they love each other. Let's play the water game. I don't think they like each other right now.
Water game was so funny, and it was just pure Max chaos and just like pure Max hating marketing. It was so perfect.
But also felt like marketing knew he was going to do that, and they did it on purpose.
Yes. Yeah. Which almost made it better.
Yeah. But I don't know. What else? Any other hot takes? She's looking off into the distance.
I've been thinking.
She's considering.
Oh, my brain is fried today. I was having to get students ready for MCAs all day long and dealing with tech stuff.
Here's last.
What?
My last hot take is like, we need new. This is for F1 TV. We need new commentators. I'm sorry. It's time for the women to run the world. And that includes F1 commentary. Keep them with the racing, though. I'm just kidding. Obviously, that's a joke. I want more women in racing. But the commentating is so boring sometimes. And they all have the same hot takes, which is just like, this week, I felt like this week was all about Valtteri Bottas and like, what's going on in his head. He just can't drive anymore. And it's like, there's so much complexity and they must know that. And the like speculation is always so boring. Sorry.
Yeah. With F1 TV, they have like Laura Winter or Rosanna Tennant on their like before and after show almost every week. But during the race
I know,
itself,
but let them rate. Yes. Yeah. And it's like, and okay, I've been listening to, I think, the F1 TV commentary, which has been like Crofty.
That's international.
No,
one.
That's international. Sorry. It's been DC, who I thought I enjoyed, but now I'm like, ugh. And then Jolene, what's his last name?
Julian Palmer. I like him.
Julian Palmer and some guy who's not a race driver.
Yeah, I don't know the other guy.
But he's there. And I'm like, and if we have a non-race car driver, could you get a woman? Like,
yeah. Also, I thought James Hinchcliffe was going to be on their team, and he has not done anything with them yet. I
also really enjoyed James Hinchcliffe. So maybe that's the American in us, the true American.
No, he's Canadian, right?
I know that. That's why it's funny. That's why it's funny. Nobody likes my jokes.
Sorry, I should not have doubted you.
But yeah, like get a woman. It's so, especially like that, like this. Someone posted on a content creator named, I'm gonna say her right name, posted about fangirls this week on Instagram, and specifically about like Formula One fangirls. What is her name?
The post was so good.
I thought it was so good too. And
which she was basically talking about the market and the value and the resource that fangirls are. It was perfection.
Tony Cohen Brown. And she made this really nice video about fangirls and how they might talk about things differently, but they're bringing their own perspective and interest to like all of the things that they're passionate about. And I was sitting there listening to the commentary and I was thinking like, I want another perspective here because we're getting like 3 of the same perspectives and it's not giving a lot. Like,
and also like someone like Susie Wolf, she raced Formula One cars a little bit, at least doing testing. Why can you not find someone like her to be joining a commentary team?
Yeah. And I don't know. It gets a little like circular and boring and like, come on. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like, just...
I think you should watch the International for a couple weeks and see what you think of that one.
I know, but I have watched the International. I did not enjoy it because I actually really dislike Crofty. That's the issue. The issue is no, thank you. But I could do that for a couple weeks just so I can get another one in there. But I had been feeling like, oh, I think I prefer the F1 TV. Like, I think I like that commentary better. And then this week I was just like, you guys are killing me.
Maybe you're just not a DC fan.
I thought I really liked DC. What did he say? Were we texting about this? He made some comment where I was like, oof. He was talking about Daniel Ricciardo, and he was saying, like, I don't understand why he can't just, like, get it together and, like, drive better. And
why he didn't, it was like he didn't understand why Danny felt the need to take a year off for his mental health.
Yeah. And then was it Jolene Palmer who was like, well, I think for his mental health, then, like, he needed to take care of himself. And then Crofty, or I always want to call him Crofty, DC was like, I have a hard time feeling bad for, like, very rich men who get to, like, drive fast cars. Yeah. And I was like, okay, it's on two sides for me now where I'm like, one, true. Two, pretty bad comment in the case of, like, no matter what your background, you can struggle with mental health issues.
Yes. And, like,
there's a place to be like, most of us can't quit our jobs and just take care of ourselves for a year. And maybe that conversation should be like, we should be able to quit our jobs and take care of ourselves if we need to when we're having a mental health crisis. So yeah, kind of I was like,
and also, like, having money doesn't mean that, like, you can't be still struggling with your mental health, and it doesn't mean that, like, going through the situation that Danny did of, like, just being so beat down by nothing going well at McLaren, it's like, it's still gonna wear on you, no matter if you have money or not. Because, like, his, like, having money does not mean that you're happy.
So
maybe we should start our own commentating team, Grace.
I know. I was thinking about, like, it is fun to talk to someone when you're watching a race. Like, I find it so much more enjoyable to watch with other people. So. But okay, we should probably wrap this up. Thank you for listening. We're so happy to have you all here.
Check out our Twitter and Instagram and Tumblr and everything.
Feel free to email us with questions or topics you want us to bring up on the next pod. It's We Don't Know Wheel F1@gmail.com. And I think all our social media handles are just We Don't Know Wheel F1.
Tell your friends and family about us.
Yeah, and we love getting feedback and reviews on our podcast. And we're happy to have you all here. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for joining. We will hopefully be back at some point before Baku.
I think we will do a Long Beach Grand Prix review.
Maybe we can do a podcast where you all tell me all about it.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That would be fun. I am sadly missing out on the California trip. Life of a teacher.
Next time.
All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.